So this is Fortnite, and you're about to watch me jump off this battle bus and battle other players for the crown. You'll be following me on this journey, and as you can see, hi, I'm Midas, and the crown is mine. During this game, I'll tell you how my history is kind of entwined within Fortnite. So, got nothing else to do, here we go. I'm known as a mastermind and a manipulator who develops plans in the shadows in order to conquer. I act methodically and always hide my true intentions, not hesitating to lie, betray, or commit immoral and criminal acts through my organisations to get what I want. Blah blah blah. To be fair, I just think I'm a pretty swell guy if I'm honest, so here's more about me. I sincerely love my daughter Jules, and I respect my closest operatives, Meowsicles and Marigold. And according to Meowsicles, I'm actually sweeter than I appear. I was previously an ancient king, known as the Golden King. However, I was condemned by my own greed. I once received the gift of transforming everything I touched into gold. However, I quickly realised that, in truth, this was a curse, as I could not eat nor drink, for all that I touched turned to gold. Despite everything, I still wandered this world of the living, but one day I transformed my young daughter into gold. This heartbroke me. I managed to resurrect her, but at great physical and emotional cost. My daughter's trust was broken forever. So, with a little less of the emotional stuff, let me tell you how I fit into the story of Fortnite. Here we go. One day, a dim, blue light appeared in the sky, drawing closer and closer to the island with each passing day. Observation camps were set up all around the map, and the UIA were trying to figure out what it was. Then the bad news struck. It was said to be a comet, bound for the island. Not too long before May, meteors began to strike the surface of the map, causing temporary damage to structures. This was the beginning of something that would change everything. The meteor struck the island, destroying a factory and half of Dusty Depot. Smaller shards of the comet crashed into different areas, creating craters near Fatal Fields, Snobby Shores, and the motel. In the centre of Tilted Towers, near the dirt track, and even the new drive-in theatre. These objects held such strange powers within them, one of which, when consumed, would allow people to temporarily lower the effects of gravity. However, there was much more power within them that could be harnessed. A character named The Visitor launched the rocket. Its engines crashed into Anarchy Acres, and the rocket, after boosting itself into the sky, began to fall back down, pointing lasers at Tilted Towers, shortly before a rift appeared and swallowed the rocket. The rocket reappeared above Moisty Mire and started flying around the island, before eventually being sucked into another rift near a mountain by Greasy Grove. A bigger rift appeared above Loot Lake, and the rocket flew out of it, creating a huge crack in the sky before finally disappearing. The crack in the sky started spitting out lightning in the desert as it slowly shrank and turned purple on a silent hill and cacti. The crack constantly shot lightning at each individual cacti on the hill, the last bolt of lightning eventually creating a cube, causing a crack to vanish from the sky. The story's gonna have to wait just a moment. I've got some action here, so try and get a few kills en route to that victory royale. I'll get back to the story shortly if you don't mind. Right, where's this other guy? There he is. Come to Midas, yo! And look what we get. Even though I got the Midas touch, I need the Midas golden sniper too. Right, where were we? Back to the story. The cube, a strange purple object illuminated with runs and shot lightning when threatened, started rolling around the map. On its path, it crushed a hut near Fatal Fields and creating several new different runs in the ground across the map, causing low gravity zones. The cube eventually rolled into Loot Lake, dissolving and making the water bouncy. This remained, as I can remember, for multiple days. The cube returned from the sinking event, turning the island in the middle of Loot Lake into a floating island, and turning Loot Lake into a leaky lake, the water dropping into a strange hole that could not be entered by people of the island. The iceberg, from a distance, hit the southwest part of the map, burying Flush Factory in snow and Greasy Grove under ice. The iceberg added a large new snow biome into the island. It was pretty crazy. An ice sphere, the Ice King, along with a piece of the cube inside it, appeared over Polar Peak. A few days after, the sphere exploded, releasing the Ice King. Using his absorbed power from the cube shard, he created a large blizzard version of himself, summoning a large wave of snow that covered the whole island, creating large snow obelisks which would create snowy cube monsters. The prisoner was able to escape, slowly making it into the Wailing Woods. Earthquakes began to consistently occur, causing multiple cracks around the island, and even collapsing a new building in Tilted Towers. I have a strange feeling that someone's around here. But, quite... there he is. Is he emoting? Wow. Sorry to pause the story, but that had to be done really, didn't it? So yeah, in summary, that's very quickly what happened at the beginning of Fortnite, and it kind of leads to where I start coming in chapter 2. During this time, to take my mind off the heartbreak of my daughter's trust being broken, I directed my ambitions towards establishing an empire of espionage, intrigue, and conquest. To fulfill this vision, I enlisted 3 individuals of great promise: the Burning Wolf, Chaos Origins, and Sierra. Together, we formed the First Shadows. Each of my original 3 operatives earned a distinct nickname: Midas, First Enforcer, Midas, the First Redeemed, and Midas, the First Pardoned, marking the genesis of the Midas crew. From the destruction of the map, we patched up the craters around the island, as well as removing the hot rocks from them, sending them to the villain lair where their power could be harnessed and used to fuel the rocket. Yes, you did hear me just say the villain lair, and I'll get onto that in a second. There was a lot of conflict at this time. Wars broke out between different factions, which I'll explain. However, I may need to concentrate shortly, as I have to focus on getting my golden crown back, and that's very important to me. The bunker is sounding. I'll need to stay vigilant at this time. We've had many additions to the map, most recently these bunkers, in which we can modify our weapons and obtain gold, but we know I do not need that. I've spotted an enemy player running north. This is where the golden sniper comes to play. GG's, my friend. However, I have noticed that there is someone pushing me right now. I may need to use the mythic guitar to relocate. Quick. The constant war continued between Ego, now known as Ghost, and Alter, now known as Shadow. This is where I join Ghost and become the leader of the group, and also create the agency. I always created multiple spy locations. Shadow, hidden around the map, plans on taking over the island, starting with large spy locations. First, the Grotto, along with Brutus, joined Shadow, Soon after, the rig is destroyed and T and Tina became under the control of Alter. I just have to say, I'm gutted I missed that shot. It was inches away from him. The yacht was also taken over by Deadpool. My yacht. Causing Meowsicles to be kicked off the yacht and be sent to live in a box factory. This was upsetting. So to explain how this all ties in, and explain my organisations in a little more detail, I founded the Agency, an organisation specialising in espionage, with Ghost overseeing its operations from the headquarters on Island. I thought I would again mention I possess a yacht. It does feature a statue of beautiful me in the centre. Shadow established several safe houses, prompting members of my crew to align with one faction or another, intensifying the conflict that I mentioned. Throughout the season, I collaborated with my daughter Jules to develop a device beneath the Agency intended to neutralise the storm. As you can see, some people are better than others at this game. We call them bots, but they're always here to make your day. Right, I think there's one more, and then we can continue with the story. That should have been a headshot. I don't know how it wasn't. Second go, thank you very much. So continuing with the story. My room housed a journal depicting Oreo's scepter, a symbol representing the storm, and a suit akin to the Tempest attire, designed to defy the storm. Despite efforts to repel the storm, the loop destabilized multiple times. 5 energy coils rose from the hatches around the Agency, shortly before the Agency blew up to reveal the Doomsday device rising up from the platform. The device activated, sending energy through the coils and at the storm. Following this event, Shadow triumphed over Ghost, as much as it pains to say, seizing control of the Agency. Nevertheless, I was still the leader of Ghost, and I orchestrated the transfer of the control to Jules, who rebuilt the facility as Shadow's new headquarters. Eventually, a thief, or a group of thieves, broke into the Agency and stole my golden chair. They had a full plan set up where, once they stole it from the meeting room, they would take it to a boat they rowed to the island with. They would row west, where a truck would be waiting for them, holding a stolen rope from the yacht, my yacht. Once they made it to the truck, they rushed into Salty Springs and hid in the blue building, placing the rope near the top of the staircase, replacing an old desk chair with the golden one on the top floor, and removing a Ghost recruitment poster off the wall and into the trash, hatefully. Unexpectedly, my golden chair was so heavy, it crashed through the ground and onto the bottom floor, creating a large mess. However, the golden chair was put away into a storage boat, and soon left the island. However, my beautiful golden chair was eventually found again. It was given back after the storage boat left the island. Soon, it was set up as a shrine at the top floor of the Authority. I materialised as a shadow form of myself, following the ritual involving my golden chair. I spearheaded my revenge, aiming to reclaim control back of the island. My plan to do this involved disrupting the reboot system, enabling eliminated loopers to return as shadows. During this time, Marigold arrived on the island, burdened by the same curse as me, the Golden Touch. In her pursuits, Marigold sought retribution for someone squandering my gold and enlisted the looper to aid in her request. Marigold coordinated with Jules and I, hinting at implementing events and instructing Jules to adhere to the plan. Later, for the Cosmic Summer, I adopted the form of Midsummer Me, the form I am currently in. I forged a bond with Jules at the beach following this. I relinquished control of my crew to Brutus and withdrew from active involvement. However, Marigold endeavoured to locate me in the aftermath. The intervention of Galactus culminated in the destruction of the ruins and the island's eye, leaving my fate uncertain. As my power faded, my golden chair suddenly went missing, nowhere to be found. It was unknown who or what may have taken it. My valuable golden chair was secretly taken by a highly secretive organisation hidden beneath the island. The storm collapsed. It could no longer hold the tsunami and released it into the island, inundating the island. Several parts of the map were flooded and destroyed. However, certain parts survived and adapted to the new flood. My weak self tried to plan revenge. Although it seemed peaceful, Shadow had control of the island after rebuilding the agency into the Authority, which was now led by the new Shadow leader, my daughter, Jules. As mentioned, my ritual caused a large explosion, turning the Authority into ruins. Among the damage, a dark fog began to cover the island. Now, I stayed in the ruins with my ghost henchmen and Shadow army seeking revenge, although this did not last long, as I was eventually defeated and killed by a shark, causing my army and the fog to fade away. At the end of Chapter 2, my original 3 operatives, the Burning Wolf, Chaos Origins and Sierra, re-emerged after a prolonged absence. Although not a main character like Chapter 2, in Chapter 3 I left my presence dotted around the island, such as golden items and remnants of my hideouts, underscoring my enduring influence, because you know, I'm that guy. I remained hidden throughout Chapter 3, having some, me time. But Chapter 4, I rejected Wildcard's proposal for a heist, while Scrap Knight Jules asked me not to involve her with the schemes anymore. Needless to say, this was another heartbreaking moment for me, but in truth, I understand deep down, and after reflection, I understand even more. During this season, I wielded a gun, the mythic drum gun, and I left it deep within the Eclipsed Estates vaults. But this caused friction with a character called Kado Thorn, who engaged in conflict with me. During a battle of epic proportions, my hand was badly severed, leading to my doom and descent into the underworld. This imprisonment would make me become a shade of what I was, quite literally and physically, and be imprisoned by Hades deep in the underworld. Numerous artifacts linked to me and my agents were scattered across the island, including my hideout chair and my yacht, now under the control of the Society. This was hard to see, but biding my time was what I needed to do, and waiting for the right moment was what I needed to do more. My entrapment in the underworld, ensnared by the chains of Hades, which suppressed my golden touch. Following clues at my confinement, Marigold rallied former crew members to find me. Shadow also reclaimed my yacht for me, and this meant a great deal. As a result of this, Marigold dispatched the Looper to investigate my cell in the underworld, only to find that I'd actually already escaped. They should have known I had a plan. But between me and you, I did this by transforming the guards into gold. Freed from the underworld, I reunited with my agents. Though there were suspicions arose regarding Brutus's loyalty, however, upon confirming Brutus's steadfast allegiance, I reassumed my leadership, orchestrating Ghost and Shadow's resurgence as one united front. However, this did lead me to make a discovery involving the Chains of Hades. My daughter Jules commenced research aimed at enabling me to control my golden touch with special gauntlets, and this is what we are currently working on together. So here we find ourselves in the final battle within this game. Using the Nitro Fists, I'll be keeping an eye out for enemy players sitting in this tree. As the storm slowly closes, the enemy players are drawn closer and closer, intensifying the final battle. Over my many Battle Royales, I have found that a sniper is a very trusted ally of mine, and I will try and close this game off from afar. However, there is no guarantee for this, so I must always be ready. I will leave you to watch the ending without my audio involvement. Enjoy the final minutes of this game. I will leave you with my closing statement at the conclusion of this game. I hope you've enjoyed learning about me and how I'm entwined within the story of this world we call Fortnite. With my crew reunited and my plans in motion, I set my sights on departing the island aboard the Marigold yacht. This island is just way too small for me and my ambitions. What will I do next? You'll have to wait and see.